Hello, you beautiful munchkin. How have you been? So, we have a new bottomless dungeon week, and the reward this time is a legendary dragon, which is pretty cool. The odds on the chest have been reduced as a result of this being a legendary, which means, on average, less people are going to get the legendary this week, but it's a legendary shadow and wind dragon if you are interested. And we also have some other dragons available in the dungeon, of course. We also have the Emerald Wars clan event, and we are due to get the special piggy bank item thing as well. So on top of that, we've also got the dragon of the week being the chestnut dragon. So if you want to be breeding the chestnut, then you can breed together a cyborg and a boiling dragon. These are the possible results from the breeding. There's actually quite a few of them. And just keep going, breeding until you manage to get 'em. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But anyway, like I said, we have a bottomless dungeon. So before we get into anything, I am going to go ahead and upgrade our Nezha dragon. Because our Nezha dragon and defensive dragons in general are a good way to get a lot of value out of the dungeons every week. Because if you can sort of grind on the lower level dragons before you move up, you can get a lot of value out of everything. Anyway, checking out the special offers in the dungeon shop, we have the Wizard Dragon as one of the dragons that we can buy. We have Medalist Dragon pieces available, which is weird because we're going to have the Medalist Dragon available in a calendar event. So, if we're getting it in a calendar event, it's probably pointless buying pieces for it now. Relics of Farming sometimes can be useful. Relics of Exploration are alright. And then we have pieces of the Realm Dragon for 300, which it seems quite expensive. But the Realm Dragon in the past, the bundles for him were super expensive gem-only deals. So this is actually a really worth it deal if you want to get pieces of the Realm Dragon. And then we've also got VIP tickets, 150. This deal, super duper worth it. I highly recommend that you buy these VIP tickets because 150 dungeon tokens, you can get that after a couple of resets anyway. But anyway, moving on to the dungeon itself, I've heard there's a lot of shadow dragons in this week's dungeon. But if we go onto the map, it is just the regular map here, but this beautiful boy here is the dragon that we'd be going for. Little Darkfire. It's cool that we finally get these dragons getting released because we waited for them for a very long time. But these quests that we have available to us here are like my least favourite dungeon quests if you're trying to farm dragons, essentially. Because that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to farm dragons that are at a low level so that we don't bump up the levels too much. So our tasks here are to defeat dragons, which is the opposite of what we want to be seeing because we don't want to have to move on to the next wave. So this is like the worst case scenario really that can happen. But we need to defeat them with weak attacks and defeat 2 dragons with 1 blow, which isn't too difficult, but it depends on the elements that you have available to you. But the idea is, you sort of defend your dragons, and then you boost them with the divine element, and then they get the boost of the super high level dragon, and then you can basically murder everything in your path. That's the general idea behind how you're supposed to tackle the dungeon. Only problem is, our Nezha is not of a super duper high level at the moment, because it's not fully enchanted yet. So, it's kind of a problem in terms of that. But as Nezha gets fully upgraded, we will get more benefits out of using her. So for now, it's suboptimal. But the dungeon really does work a lot better when you have defensive dragons to sort of help you around and do everything for you. But the first couple of waves of the dungeon, to be honest, are going to be quite difficult pretty fast. Because the levels of the enemies are going to scale pretty quickly. So there's not a whole lot that you can do apart from having super defensive dragons to buff stuff. So don't feel too bad if the dungeon sort of wipes you out straight away. Again, this isn't the best strat out there, but it is one that can work out sometimes. So 2 dragons with 1 blow, I don't even know. There are 2 dragons that we can defeat here, luckily. So at least we can get a 70-point quest done. Isn't that nice? See, these quests here that are perform normal attacks 20 times, that is like my favourite quest by far, because you can just sit here, you don't have to defeat anyone, you can get a free 160 points. It's beautiful. So there is a little bit of RNG that comes into dealing with the dungeon, and plus, when you get to the Shadow Dragons, they will start murdering everything in your path. Because you can defend the dragon against the first hit, but you can't defend them against the damage over time hit. So, another thing that's going to make farming in this actual dungeon quite difficult. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. You know, as long as we farm a little bit at the beginning, then we put our higher level dragons in after, at least we'll get some value out of it, and it shouldn't be too bad. And now we're back to defeating dragons with X attack quests, which, again, kinda sucks. Kinda sucks. Just because I think we're at the point already where I don't think the defensive team's really going to get much value, I'm just going to try and knock out whatever we come across. At this point, when you're at the point where it's like, yeah, I don't think our dragons are going to really work out anymore, it's probably a good idea to swap to your higher level dragons like Joko here. Is going to work out pretty well. So what do we actually have to do? Weak and 3 dragons with 1 blow. I don't think well, we can defeat the middle one with wind, which isn't too bad. But main thing about the first few levels of the dungeon as well is trying to get as far as you can, as fast as you can, so that you get those special bonuses to your health and your attack. Because as long as you get the bonuses, you should be fine. But like, Mr. Archangel here is unfortunately going to get decimated, and there's nothing that we can really do about that. But it's just about keeping all of these things in mind about ways to possibly tackle it all, and if you can do that, then you'll probably end up netting yourself some bonus points overall compared to what you would have normally. So just keep it all in the back of your mind, just think, yep, it's all good, I know what I'm doing. I know that it's better to grind the first level as usually, but again, it is quest dependent on how well you're actually going to do with your farming stuff. But the piggy bank thing that's going to be coming out, I'm really not very interested in it because, again, the piggy bank air quotes event, as they keep calling it, it's not really an event at all. It's just a purchasable item that means that other items go on sale. So if you're someone that spends an ungodly amount of money in DML, probably doesn't buy the right things, or maybe is a little bit too giving with their money, it's going to be an item that people like that will enjoy, but to the normal players of DML, it's probably not going to be very good. No matter how much the sale value is on the actual item itself, I don't feel like it's going to be worth it, because you have to make multiple purchases really to make it really good. And that sounds kind of sucky to me. It's how they get you. It's like, hey, do you want a membership card? And then, if you get our membership card that costs $2 a month, then you'll get other stuff for cheaper. But then if you don't buy any of the other stuff, you've basically wasted the money on a membership card that you don't use. It's how things like gyms get people to waste their money, because they're like, yeah, I'm gonna be good, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna get fit and get healthy. But everyone says that, not everyone does that, and then they're just wasting money on a gym membership that they never use. It's the same thing. So, before you make random purchases on DML in-game items, make sure you think about it a little bit first, and don't just like go, oh my god, new thing, I've got to buy it, because not a good idea. Always think about what you're doing before you purchase stuff. That's my general advice to you. But anyway, the good thing about the dungeon these days, of course, is that after you do the first round of the dungeon, you do get the next dungeon pretty quick, and then you get the other one with a shortened time, and then eventually it gets up to the higher timers, shall we say. But oh my god, I forgot that the Darkfire's baby is actually so cute. I don't know, he looks like some weird demon eagle. I like it. I like it a lot. And plus he's got the cool effect on his wings. I don't know, back when we saw this dragon get released, I saw a bunch of people absolutely frothing at the mouth over it, and then other people like, oh my god, that's too edgy for me, I'm too cool for that dragon. Ugh, can't believe anyone would like something like this. It's like, come on, we can be in between. You don't have to love or hate everything that you come across. We can be like, I think that's right. It's alright, you know? You don't have to be like, well, someone likes it. Ugh, what an idiot. Pfft. Like, come on, dude. I think it's cute because it's got its little beak, and I am a fan of beaky dragons. Just things with beaks in general. Beaks are cute. Don't know why I'm like that, but I am. That is just who I am, alright? Don't be like that with me. So, for now, we also have a bundle for the Sweetie Bunny Dragon for whatever reason. If you want it, buy it, but it is a freaky dragon. Not gonna lie, it is a freak of nature, and it scares me a little bit. It definitely scares me a little bit. So, think about before we take advantage of it. At the same time, we are going to have solo events, not solo events, like weekend-style events today. And of course, we've also got the Emerald Wars stuff to do. That is assuming that the event loads up. So, if you've never seen Emerald Wars, then essentially you've got a bunch of towers, and you've got to take over the towers. And then when you take over the towers, you'll get an earning amount of X emeralds per time. Depends on, really, it depends on which tower you defeat. Because the higher the tier of the tower, then obviously, more points you're really gonna get. So, as an example, say we've got this hard fight here. We don't have any of these dragons trained up, which is a little bit scary. I think we should still be able to manage this fight, however. But if we can't, we'll just use Dragon Fury. It's not really a big concern to us. So the general idea with this team, like I've said before, double plant, double infect, shadow the enemies, and then normally everything dies. So I can generally get away with doing the hard quests. So using just 2 of the dragons, only use as many dragons as you need to, because you see that we can beat this tower the first time. And then we get to control the tower, so now we're earning 80 per minute. But we can do this fight again and get more battle score for this tower to make sure that the enemies don't take over the tower. So, the way that you either do this is by only using 1 or 2 dragons to take the tower, or you use your revive token things, and the way that you can get more revive tokens is either by doing quests, or you can get them from going on streaks of battles in the Emerald Wars as well. We've only just been given a clan, but it does mean that since we actually have a clan, we gotta start beating some stuff up. So, can we do this fight? These are level 62s, but they are a higher enchantment level than us. So, I'm gonna metal our dragons and see how much damage it does. Look at that, that is a spicy amount. That is a spicy amount to deal to him. I didn't mind that at all. So, our Archangel here is unfortunately not very good against these dragons. But I think that we can one-shot the remainder of these guys. Actually, well, like, just a tiny bit of damage off, so this is what I save my Dragon Fury bottles for if I care enough. Which, to be fair, I don't really care about Emerald Wars too much. But I don't use my Dragon Fury Essence for anything else, so I don't care. So I'll get that. We get some free energy there, we get to take over the tower. Use your Dragon Fury Essence on things that you need to use it on, but if you don't think that you can do the fight, just do the medium fight instead. Like, you don't have to do the hard battle every time. Like, our top dragons are these ones, level 40 with 4 stars of enchantment, but then we'd be going against level 40 with 3 stars of enchantment. So you can say, yeah, I think we can make this work, but the problem is our dragons aren't upgraded very much. And that's when the problems start to come in. And the fact that I just randomly upgrade my dragons all the time, just because why not, it actually really comes in handy at times like this. Because it means that I can actually beat quite a few of these towers by default usually. I normally do the medium quests though, to be fair. I normally do not try and do these hard quests, because it's normally not worth the point value. You're better off just going for the streaks. But tackle it however you can, is the general gist of it. But remember that the higher the level of your attacks, the more damage you're probably going to do. So we'll see. I think we're dead here. See, we're dead here. So if you don't have more upgraded dragons, you probably are going to struggle quite a bit. I just wanted to do this sort of as a showing that you're not always going to be able to bash these towers out. But the enemies do sort of get toned down depending on the dragons that you're using. So keep that in mind. The hard fights, they will give you a lot of points, but they will be challenging, and if you don't have upgraded dragons, you're gonna struggle a lot. So we'll see if we can take on this fight against level 26s, but they are legendaries, so we probably can't. But I'm just going to give you a general idea of, you know, what sort of power values to expect from the dragons that you're going to be facing. Because I don't care too much about winning, especially since the other clan doesn't appear to be active quite yet. But you will come across legendaries, you will come across some other OP dragons because they're trying to beat you up. So, just do whatever you can. The great thing about this clan event is that even super low level players get to feel like they have a lot of value because they can just demolish on the lower tier towers and they can get your clan a lot of points. Because if you keep control of those towers and make sure that the other clan doesn't get it, that's all that you can really ask for. Because as long as you do that, make sure that the clan doesn't overtake you on points, you are going to be earning a ton extra. A ton extra. So, now we have seen this clan event before. It's nothing really very new. I think we're going to have to Dragon Fury this one. But there's nothing too new about this clan event compared to last time. Just get used to it. Play around with it a bit if you're not really sure how it all works. And it should make sense in a couple of minutes' time. There's nothing complicated. Nothing in DML is really very complicated at the end of the day. But just think of it as like tower takeover. It's just tower takeover, that's it. Tower takeover land. So here I'm going to try out, I think it's the medium. The medium one here looks like it's just as bad. Because if you remember, enchantment cells are worth about 2 points, or 2 levels worth of value. So that's an extra 6, and around about level 38. Is what we're working with, and they're level 38, level 36. I guess this one's a little bit easier. Whenever you refresh, it will change the enemies as well. So if there's one that you really want to do a hard quest for, but it seems too difficult, try and refresh it, see what happens. But upgrading other dragons is not a bad idea anymore. It's really not too bad of an idea. Look at that, that medium quest went through like a breeze. That was easy peasy, dude. So, just keep taking over towers, getting more points in each individual tower, trying to beat up the enemies. Let's have a look at the other level 100 tower here. So, here if we go on a hard fight, we're going to go against full level 100s, which would probably decimate us. So, instead, I'd probably rather go with an easy fight for this one if we wanted to keep control of the tower just to make sure that we don't lose, for example. Because if we went for the middle one here, we might have a chance of losing because our Nether, again, is not fully enchanted. So just take a look at the enemies that you're going against first, and again, it will refresh when you go back in. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, but that is how it works currently. So if you're going against other clans, they're going to be using that to their advantage. And don't forget, you can also check the battle log to see who's actually doing things during the clan event. So if you want to see who's active or inactive, you can see using the battle log. So this event actually gives quite a lot of information, which I'm quite a fan of. But with everyone getting, let's say, removed from clan stuff, because you'll see a lot of people called Dragon Master XXX these days, because people that are below the age requirement have had their names and such in-game removed. So if they're underage, you might see that happening, depending on where you're from. I don't think they do that in Europe. I think it's either you have access or you don't. But in America and sort of, I think it's the, like, Asian regions, it depends on your actual country's jurisdiction, I think. But in a lot of areas, it's just, if you're below a set age, then they will revoke your clan access or your ability to talk in the clan, which will hinder your progress probably quite severely if you can't actually interact with anyone. So if you're in one of those big clans, they might even start kicking people out. I don't know what's going to happen about that, because I don't care about the competitive side too much. It's just clan stuff. I don't care too much at the end of the day. But you know what? I'm going to use Kronos in a second. So overall, there's all the stuff that you should be expecting for today. There's a lot of stuff coming. We've got the news about the new element. Maybe that'll be coming eventually. You know, we will have Halloween, and I don't believe we actually had a Halloween event last year. There was one year that we definitely didn't have a Halloween event, and everyone was a little bit upset because they're like, why? We've always had a Halloween event. Maybe we'll have one this year, maybe we won't, but they were talking about some sort of update in October, some sort of other event coming around the same time. I don't know. If we're getting a new element, I don't know when they'd release it, but they have been teasing towards the end of the year, for like the entire year, that some major change was happening, and new element is probably it. So there's a lot of things that you're probably going to want to keep an eye on. And since we know that there's a high possibility of there being new elements introduced, if you are thinking about upgrading another team member to level 100, you probably shouldn't. Because if you want to think about it right now, to collect enough food to level up another dragon to level 100, it takes quite a bit of grinding. It'll take a couple of months for normal people that aren't logging in all the time and play the game. They might play it every day, but they don't log in every 6 hours to collect food, for example. It takes people like a couple of months usually if they want to full farm for food. So if we're planning for like a month ahead of time or 2 months ahead, that might be when the new dragons come out. Maybe proto divines come out, or proto new element dragons come out, whatever you want to call them, whatever's happening, then you should probably start saving up your food and your resources now. What you don't want to do is say pick out a new team member right now, level it up to level 100 even though you've already got 2 other team members, because a third dragon at level 100 honestly doesn't really give you that much benefit. And then you end up not being able to upgrade one of the new dragons that come out. So this is something that you really have to pre-plan ahead for, because if you're not pre-planning ahead to upgrade these dragons now, as in now I've got 156 mil food, now if I started caring about getting new food, I would only level up dragons to like level 15 absolute max if I was doing castle events. Because normally in castle events what I do is I hatch a new fire dragon and then I just level it up to like level 20 whatever, depends on what tier I'm on. Because I don't care enough about getting enough food. But if you do care about making as much food as possible now to potentially level up a new team member, start doing it now. That is the best advice that I could possibly give you, I think. But, you know, I guess we'll spend the remainder of our event currency for now. When the new element comes out, if it does indeed end up coming out, it will probably change quite a lot of the dynamic in the game, so you have to be ready for things to be very different from the way that they are right now. So, that's what happened with Shadow and Light, that's what happened when Divine came out, it's gonna happen again if a new element comes out, everyone's gonna start freaking out, it's just the way that it is. So, for now, I wish you the very best of luck. I hope that you get yourself this Darkfire Dragon. And until next time, I will hopefully see you then.